we have started streaming. Which one was going first?
The
Adelaide?
STL.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, this one right
Benja.
here? Okay, well, that's this right now. No, that's first. Hey, there we are. Hello, kind and gentle folk. How are we doing this evening? We're back, as usual. It shows that I'm frozen. Am I frozen?
No.
Why does mine show it's frozen? I'll refresh that and see what happens. It's going to make me watch a commercial, I bet. Hey. All right. Is there any news for the week? No. One day I hope to actually bring you news. I guess today's not it. Did I just ditch all the viewers? Oh, no, it's just refreshing. All right. So, if anyone wants to upload files, the link is right there in the whatchamadoodle, in the title thing there. And then Henry, I'm sure, will post it again at some point later. We have a few files. We'll give it a little bit of time, just in case. Whoa, we just lost like 20 people in like 1.2 seconds.
Those numbers are nonsense.
Like, wait a minute, I'm so confused.
Completely meaningless.
And we have no one over here. So are we on? I see a YouTube response.
Yeah, I checked all three. You're good.
Okay, so we are streaming. We're streaming to no one, but that's okay. Okay, so should we just hop into this?
I mean, unless you want to
Should
goof
we-
off for a minute.
All right. Can you think of anything we're supposed to share with anyone that I didn't share? No.
No.
Hey, Semi. How's it going? Hello. I don't know if I will eat your laser, but hello nonetheless. You know, that's one of those things you have to be careful about what you accept online. That was a verbal contract. Eat my laser. My friend was building lasers for a while. Do you actually build lasers? Are you like a laser enthusiast? I didn't realize like what a big world the laser enthusiast world is. My roommate at the time, I was living with him, and he got very excited by lasers. And like they did a group buy from the one company in China that makes over a 1 watt. And it's sort of like this mustard yellow laser that's a very hard spectrum to get. People like would all chip in and buy the diodes, and then it was an interesting world. It was a lot of fun burning through stuff with, 4 watt lasers. It's pretty crazy, isn't it? Yeah, no, it's a wild world because like there's certain there's this, would you call it a teal or a turquoise blue that's a really hard laser to find, and like I think he has like 20 or 30 different nanowatt or I don't know. I'm a sculptor, man. All right.
I think it's nanometers.
It's nanometers. And then it's wattage.
Yeah.
All right. I get so confused. He had a 4 watt. Man, that thing would burn through a lot of things. It was pretty awesome. But the engraving lasers are 50 to 100 watt, right?
Yeah. I mean, they even go higher than that. 40 is like the standard K40 Chinese variant laser cutter.
That's cool. I need to buy one of those. I think I saw one on eBay for about, it was like $40 or $50, and it's in that 800 to 1 watt range. of the 365 UV for hand curing the resins. All right.
I'd say go ahead and get started.
Okay, so this is Benja's ring, and it is super fun. There are 2 issues. One is really tall, and that's okay for like a cocktail ring or an event ring. So, you know, if you weren't going to wear this every day, that's perfectly fine. I make completely unwearable rings too, so don't, or unwearable for daily use rings. Like you'd stick your hand in your pocket, you'd tear this diamond off or this stone off. The other thing is this, is that for the width of this setting, right? You could get away with this setting. The only problem is your prongs are super thin, and all it would take is one bump and these little buggers would collapse, and that'd be the end of the ring. And that's why most of the time when you see rings that have seats, let me, there we go. Why does that look? Do you have perspective on? I bet you do. You do. I almost never, ever work in perspective. You can't align anything, and when you move, it changes the perspective, and that's not very good for working when measurements are important. So if we drag this up here, make this flat. So this is your seat. And that's fine, but one, there's a lot of distance from here to here, and these prongs are very thin. If you want it to look this way, right, what I would probably do is this. I would bring this up. I would create a seat that sits within inside the stone. Just bring it to there. And then just make sure that these guys are actually attached. And let's see, how many do you have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We are going to go move. It's so funny going from this monitor to my monitor at home, since my monitor at home's so much higher resolution, trying to remember where my things are in my interfaces. Okay, so these are not radially symmetry, right? Because you got 3, 3, and 2. So let's do this. XZ. Okay, they are symmetrical that way. And I would just grab these, and I'm obviously not being careful here. Just make sure you're getting a good solid seating. And the other thing I would probably do is, where's my form brush? Come on. I would make them thicker back here. Oh, this has been decimated. Make sure, okay. Oh, that's right. Okay. Everybody calm down, turn that off. And the thing is you can make them thicker underneath, so you don't really notice that they're thicker. Right? You can see how I added the weight on the inside of these. And just make sure they cover this seat really well. Trying to sneak in there. There we go. And so that has beefed up those prongs dramatically, but from the top, they don't look any thicker. And you've created a seat, so you're actually bending the prong from here. Oops. Auto group. There you go. Right, so that way these are going to need to be a little fatter in here. Your prongs are just a little too thin, even just for standard prongs, let alone ones that are supposed to be supporting the stone from way high up here. So that way, and you want to leave, if you're actually making these, you want to leave enough meat for them to be hammered down for the setting. And I understand yours were set, so I mean that's a visual, it's not a technical thing. So there we go. So I think that's the number one issue, is making sure that the prongs don't have a chance to bend, right? So by putting the seat there, that's super helpful. And you may want to continue this up in here just a touch. So these are thicker up here. And that's allowing you, once again, you got to figure out where the weak point of these bends are. And it's right here. So if it's fatter in the middle, you can see that this won't want to bend as much. Because right now, let's just take this right here, right? That is, where are update size ratio? Oh, this is not in scale. I'm like 11 millimeters. Well, no, that could be in scale actually. So 0.3 mil by 0.48 mil, right? I mean, right now this is saying it's less than a millimeter. Let's just double check that. W, Y. Yeah, 0.4. That's only a half a millimeter thick. You're never going to be able to support a stone, 10 millimeters off the base of the ring with half a millimeter. And I did take it at its thinnest point there. But it's good to know because, I mean, like, let's look here. Turn symmetry off real quick. That's still 0.6 mil. These should be at least a millimeter thick, especially with it floating up in space like this. You definitely need to thicken your head up a little. And I would suggest putting a hidden seat up here, because if that's not there, these prongs bend all the way down here, right? So you tap that, it just falls apart because this is less than a millimeter wide and I've kicked it up. I mean, I added a bunch of meat to that and look, we're still not at a millimeter thick. Or we're right here, we're right at a mil. Like right here, we're not. Let's go back to your beginning. Oh no, that's not what I wanted to do. Let's go back here and let's go to your beginning. There we go. I mean, look at this. That's 0.4 of a millimeter. So, you want to pay attention to how thick your prongs are. A millimeter, like if you do like 1.5 mil deep and it's 0.75 of a millimeter wide, that's one thing, right? But this is in the round, less than half a millimeter. You put it in your pocket once, or someone puts it in their purse, or whatever. You've lost the stone, and all these are going to look like. So you're going to have to beef those up. Now, as far as your patterns go, I think you did a pretty good job here. They're in layered steps, so they're going to read well. I would probably, well, my only concern here is this is looking like it wants to be on top. And I mean, you may very well have, when I'm saying this, once again, I don't know what your agenda or what your story is. So take this for what it's worth. You know, this looks like it wants to be like the foremost layer sort of thing going on here. So make sure that this is behind this, and you cut that in instead of using twist. I'm going to turn on Sculptris Pro. And so you had that line there, right? Just make sure you come in here and get rid of that line. Why are you not working? Okay, it's working there. Why is? All right, let's try this again. Oh, it's because Sculptris is on. You want to make sure to that when something is, see, you got it really good here, right? This is an obvious step, and they don't have lines drawn in it. And then you drew a line up here. So I'm not exactly sure what you were trying to accomplish differently between, you know, keeping these pretty resolute steps, which you've really succeeded with down here. And then you just cut a line in up here. So it's, I don't know if you got lazy or if you were trying to do something different, but don't cut those lines in. And then it'll read a little bit more like a step. I mean, all these guys are good, right? I mean, you have depth in these, they're nice. I would tend to make one of these lines a little flatter as opposed to them being half round, but that's just my reflective taste. Nothing's wrong with what you've done by any means. And see, this is a perfectly good place to use that line cut in, right? Let's turn on Sculptris Pro real quick, like this. Because this is a shape that is separated from the surface, right? There's no layer here. It is distinctly that, and it's going to look like these little cubes. So that's fine. Your pattern here is okay. This stuff is good. That's good. You have nice reflective forms here. Actually, oh, that's really good. I'm just curious as to this area right here, because you have good clean steps here, and then this becomes flat, and I don't know what is supposed to be happening here. If those are going back as an architectural element, like is it the wing or the leaves? This one's in the front, and then they go back. You know, just make sure that you do what you did here back here, so you get a good clean stepping thing. And thicken your prongs up dramatically. And I think that just visually, I think because your base is very heavy. Oh, here. Uh-oh. You just drew these on. You can very quickly come back in and just fill that up just a touch, just so it doesn't look like you drew it on, because you did such a good job with the stepping over here. Don't throw it away in here. Keep it, right? See, that just reads nicer as layers. And then, you know, visually, let's turn symmetry on, turn Sculptris off. You know, visually you can get this substantially thicker. And I'm not dealing with the design, I'm just trying to give you a visual thickness thing here. And you can see you can kick that up dramatically, and it actually works better with this ring because the base of this ring is heavy, right? This is not a petite ring. That's a very traditional signet base, and it has weight to it. So having things that are coming off of it that have a little bit more weight to them it's not going to hurt your design. Like, you had this really nice heavy form, and then you came up and it became really lofty and filigree. So, just consider keeping these two the same, visual presence or visual story. And I'm not obviously being careful with your surfaces. I'm just inflating these to get and you can see that actually looks a bit more masculine now. And you can tie those thicknesses into a design here where let's say these come and frame that or something in that vein, right? I know this is decimated, so I can't really sculpt, but I think you get an idea of the weights. Yeah? And yeah, seat underneath that is going to make that much safer. And what's funny is it doesn't really have to be much of a seat. The seat really isn't there to actually seat the stone. It's really there. Where's my bevel? Bevel. So even by doing that, you can see that we're knocking it out of the visual range, right? You can get it where the bevel is unimportant from the side or top. You keep it really thin up there because really the only thing that's trying to do is hold all of these prongs in place, and that becomes the pivot point to bend the prongs over the stone, right? Or to hammer them. Where if this isn't there, these are kind of notched in and they're less than 0.5 millimeter, and they're all kind of moving because now they're not in any, like if you hook that on a sweater, you're just going to drag that prong or two of those prongs just completely off, and then the stone's just going to go boop, doop, and fall on the ground. So I would think of how to incorporate these prongs into the body a little bit more. Hold on, let's duplicate this. We're going to take you and take you back to the beginning so we have a reference point. Yep. Okay, there we go. I'm going to take you. Oh, I duplicated the wrong thing. No, we'll keep that. We'll take you. And let's bring you all the way out here. Now I'm going to duplicate you. Now I'm going to take you, and we're going to bring you all the way back to the beginning. And now I'm going to hide you. Oh, no, come on. Being an STL, we started with a star. That's why I keep getting weird there. Just check and see if there's anything new in there. Now I'm going to take this and Dynamesh this real quick. Henry, are you there?
I'm here.
Oh, everything was just deadly silent for so long. I was just like, okay.
You were just, working.
Yep. No, it was
So
just.
shut up.
It's just funny. It was just like. Get these to actually incorporate into this shape a little better. Mhm. Symmetry is not turned on. That's bad. Bad sculptor. What is that? Oh. Little Rossetti thing. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna smart resymmetry this. Yeah, I gotta remember I'm not on my machine at home. I'm like, this might take a week. We won't smart resymmetry this. Maybe it's too late. Yeah, Henry, I'm already re-spoiled.
Yup. Got too much RAM.
This is only 1 million poly. This is 800,000.
I know. Terrible, huh?
It is. It's horrible. 16 gigs of RAM just isn't reality anymore. Again. Come on. I don't want to close this. Because this has STLs and stuff in it. And ZPRs and all that crap. I have to reload everything. Oh, come on, you. We'll give it a couple more minutes.
Are you streaming?
Yeah.
Yes, Mike. That's what we do on Mondays.
Sorry, guys.
Oh, I'm in the wrong chat room, aren't I?
Yeah, we're in the
Yeah, I came back to admin chat, and you're still sharing your screen. So I was like,
Yeah.
Oh, he just
Okay.
forgets to turn that off.
Okay, so
ah.
stop that.
All right. Head to Twitch.
I was like, finally, I get to do both. Watch both things.
Hold on. And I'm in the wrong chat room.
Right, now we're all
Go
moving
into
to
your
the other
server.
chat.
Twitch streaming, is that where we're at? No one else is there?
Ta-da.
Ta-da! Oh, look at the background. I didn't know. Oh. All right. Oh, damn it. Well, we were basically done with that. Go back in there and look at that. So basically, thicken your prongs. Make the prongs more connected to, they almost look like two different rings. Put a seed in there so your prongs don't flop all over the place and you lose whatever stone that is. Yeah. Hopefully that was helpful. Is ZBrush going here? OBS. Everybody. Okay. Alright. Alright. Now we have to load. Hold on, let's see. This had to have quick save since we've been working on it. Yeah, look at that. Okay. So that was okay, right? We got through that one.
Yep.
Yeah, so see, this looks like a different part altogether. So I would take the thicknesses of this, beef up all that. I would put a seat on the underside just to keep the prongs at that pivoting point. What?
The chat is talking about all they can hear is me frantically typing, and I didn't know I was unmuted.
That's not him frantically typing. That's him typing a slow
That's a
letter
common
to
normal
his girlfriend. When he frantically types, it sounds like a damn machine gun. It's ridiculous. It really does. It sounds like that. It's absurd. What you all don't know, you think he was just making noise. He just typed out the Constitution again. That's, I mean, it's ridiculous. People who can type. What the hell? Okay. But I like it. So who's next?
Yeah, I have to tell you that. I have a job. Next is the PNG. No, yeah. Next are the 3 pictures. They're all from the same person, so the order doesn't matter.
Okay. Okay, just first of all, this is absolutely hysterical. I enjoy it greatly. It's hard to see if it looks like this is just wrinkles in the costume. Maybe that looks good. Look at his expression. He's awesome. I like that this has to be science fiction because his utility belt would fall right off with his hips being thinner than his waist. But that's part of the grand humor. He's actually priceless. I like that his feet and legs are smaller than the finger and the hands. It's really... I think that is hysterical. 2 thumbs up. If you upload models next time, we can go over some, like the hand, right? No matter, even his feet, but see how here the hand looks like it's really almost armature-y? And I can't tell if that's the render or if that's the model. But so definitely upload models because it's easier to rotate them and look at them without the paint. But that's okay. Now let's look at this guy. Oh, are my shoulders supposed to make that noise? Oh, once again, very well accomplished. I mean, the eyes look like eyes, you know. Your skin meat looks good. Your flesh tensions look good. See, here again, I like to look at the models without the paint on them so we can actually see how deep your models are and stuff. But I would say definitely a successful character sculpt. I like the little bump in the forehead. That's nice. Your skin tension around the lips looks good. No. The other thumb up. Oh, I see you watch Ashley. I see slobber. We have slobber. The only thing here I would say, hold on, where's my control bar for, there it is. The only thing I would say here is this looks floppy. And you got to remember this is a tight membrane. So pay attention to which way the wrinkles are going. I think by putting the wrinkles in this way, make it look flappy, where these should have sort of wrinkles coming in sort of like that, because this is a tension membrane. Yeah, once again, it's kind of hard to tell without having the model, but your teeth look good. Here, I'm not sure of, because once again, I can't rotate around it. It looks kind of right, but then it seems sort of flat. The weight doesn't read like it's hanging down. It feels like it's hanging into that. But once again, that could just be the rendering. Allergies. And if I were framing this, where's my pen? Boom. See how your model crosses over this frame detail? If you want it to stick with this sort of architectural element frame, you have this. I probably would do something like that. You just want to make sure that that's not hanging over this element, right? If you're going to have an element, make sure, especially in a frame, that this is fitting within that. Yeah, once again, take a look at snakes or other things. I think there's a pretty solid separation here, and this once again is a membrane coming off of this, and this just seems like a really soft transition here between these two areas. Like right there, it just looks soft, or like that membrane is thicker and flabbier where let's no, that's not what I'm looking for. You can see like here, right? See how the tension is here, and see how there's a distinct line right there? That's not a soft intersection. And see how the tension is this way, it's not this way, because it's like if it were closed, I could see that. But wow, that's an angry snake right there. Holy Hannah. But you see how the mouth, you have your gums, and then the mouth, and this is more like a little stretched membrane. If that makes any sense. He has a meaty side mouth. That's not what we're looking for. That's actually the muscle there, not just the membrane. Trying to find a good example of it. Of course, you never can find a good example when you're looking for it. Man, that's... I think you know what I'm saying. I hope so.
I think so.
Yeah. All right. Those look great. Definitely upload your models so we can actually get in and look at them close. But all right, they look great. Alrighty.
Next up is the file I have completely clicked away from. Give me 2 seconds. Folder. Jose?
Is that, yeah. I think, yeah, Jose. So there's our skull and our fabric. So you use the fabric tools on it. I think he pulled it too. Because this looks like it hit the ground here. So was it the skull on a pedestal? What was that? Is that a cutting frame? Interesting. Well, I like this. Hold on. Did I misspell it? Hold on. We have an image with a dental dam. Where is it? There it is. Where's my picture? Wow, that's old. Do I have, oh, that's DeviantArt. I'm like, do I have, there it is. That's a dental dam stretched over it, over one of the rings. We didn't have as much wrinkles as you do. I like the wrinkles. I wish we were here. I could ask you questions. I like it. I think it has a lot of...
They are here. They are here.
Well, then what's going on?
1 second, 1 second. They said, I'm here, that's my file. I can't join the Discord call right now, but they will be available in a couple of minutes. So would you like to move on to the next one? And
yeah. Sounds good. And then we'll come back. Because cool. I'd like to talk about how you did it. Because I know that people are interested in the fabric tools.
Adriana is next.
Is she here?
No idea.
This is... So, just for everyone to know, so Adriana uploaded her ZPR, not the ZTL, with all her history. So this was a, how much was it? A 3 gigabyte file? Upload.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the reason we asked for ZTLs, but that's okay. You just uploaded this one first and then... And it's a neat model. But tell me, am I wrong? Come on. Doesn't she sort of look like Vanna White there? So if this is going into printing, the one thing I would say is be careful about eyelashes going into printing, because often your eyes wind up looking like Venus flytraps, and it's very distracting. Now, sometimes it works great. I would do it both ways, print it, see what it looks like. But very often, they just look a little bizarro. And that's why a lot of the stylized character animators will just do, or the stylized, character designers and character animators make the eyelashes just one solid piece, right? You know, they get the shape and it's just one solid piece. It's not all the slashes. And sometimes that reads better. It's hard to tell. I mean, like, I couldn't tell you if this is going to work or not, because it really has a lot to do. Like, did the person wear, like a lot of my friends from Tokyo Decadence, they wear these eyelashes that have like literally little peacock feathers out here and stuff. So if you want it to look that melodramatic, these will become very melodramatic, especially if you plan to paint it. That's a lot of black on the face, right? Where just taking a little sliver and doing it as a sliver, when you paint it, that becomes that black look, and it's much more subtle and smoother. So that's the only thing I'd say about that. The hair looks great. Good rhythm, good flow. The pose, obviously is fairly static. Come on. Because, she's not out there dancing. She's standing there singing. And also, if you're going to print this, make sure that, let's hide this base real quick. Make sure that you fill this in. And if you want to print it hollow, let's say you want it at that wall thickness, and depending on how big this is, that could be plenty of wall thickness. Get rid of the torso completely, thick up the walls a little bit, and make sure that your edges come down to the base. I'm just going to cheat here, and I am going to go, and I'm going to just drag this up, right? And that way that doesn't become a cavity. Now, if this isn't for printing, don't worry about it. But for printing, you want to be very careful about leaving things like that. Now, if you fill it in, right, if you fill the bottom in, and then that's just a lip. Here, let's show you what I mean. Which one are you? Okay, so I see this is in a bunch of parts. So hold on, let's. Is that everybody? Nope. We're missing the front panel. Okay. I'm going to merge visible. Flip. Is this just a skin? All right, so this looks like this is just a skin. I don't know if this came out of Marvelous or if you just did it as a skin to keep it light. Let us go to dynamic. I'm going to add thickness to this. I'm going to add a little more thickness to this. A little more thickness. Maybe a little less thickness than that.
Can you say where merge visible is in not your UI?
Probably right here in merge. So you have your subtool. See this merge? Merge, yeah, merge visible right here. So these are your subtools. And so you have split, merge, boolean, remesh, project, and extract are all in the subtool folder. But now what's funny is some of these are older. So you have boolean there, and then you have, no, I thought you had boolean in a different place as well. Interesting. I just have them all pulled out. I never know where any of these things remember are. So split, merge, boolean, remesh, project, and extract are all in your subtool folder.
Your head is completely in the way of everything you just showed, but yeah, it's in the subtool palette.
Okay, hold on. Let's get it up there. So subtool palette, right? And I'm going to bring up and see new folder, rename, low, high, split, merge, boolean, remesh, project, and extract. Merge visible is right here. Ja?
Yeah.
Ja? Ja. And so now I'm going to see, because these are not intersecting, I'm going to come in here and inflate these. Oh, not yet. We have to push apply. Oh, maybe that's what she did and I didn't apply it, and that's why it came over here as a skin. That's okay. I'm just going to take inflate on the backside and inflate these so they are intersecting. And I'll show you why we're doing this in just a second. I think that's going to be close enough. W Dynamash. All right. There are a couple places we have little holes here. This is the only. That's the only one I'm worried about. I think the rest are actually fine. All right. Dynamash. So now I'm going to go append, star, cylinder. W, rotate you around, divide you up a little. And you just want to make sure you get on the outside of all your curves. But we do want to leave it where they're all showing at the bottom. Okay. So now, actually I'm going to stretch this way. And let's stretch this out. Let's taper it, delete lower. Taper. Okay. That didn't help. We're just going to come in and move this by hand. I just want to get this all kind of close to the edge. But we do not want to cross the edge. Okay. Okay. All right. Clay tubes, just gotta fill this in a touch. All right. So that looks like it's gonna cover everything. So now we just go new folder. Now why I do all my booleans in my folder is because if you use boolean down here, right? If you, well, what's up with my interface? If you use the boolean from the boolean folder here, or you're using live boolean, it will, every time you boolean, it will create a new tool over here. But if you do it in the folders, it creates the new tool within your subtool list. And that's just a much more controllable place to have things as opposed to having 15 parts floating out in the layer area or the tool area over there. Trust me, it's just easier to keep track of stuff this way. Boolean, so we have to make that start. We're gonna make, no, other way. That start, this is cut, do boolean. Auto group. Where did we miss it? Auto group. Somewhere these two things are touching. Oh, there it is. We're just going to sculptress that off. Come on. Oh, I guess it was thicker than I thought it was. Oh, that's all the way through. All right, where are you? You are... Oh, there you are. I missed you. Take you, delete. Take you, and we are going to, was it right here? Yes, that is the opening right there that's causing us grief. Inflate those together. Boolean folder. Oh, you have to turn them on. Boolean folder. They did. You can do it in the folder or not. A lot of groups. There we go. Take you. Delete hidden. And so now when you decide to, you can come in here. Let's trim front. That's not going to matter because you're going to take this, do this. And technically, you would have done it at the waist as well. But this way, when you come in and you join these, now you can come down here. We're going to redynamesh this just so we can kind of sculpt on it. Turn this off. And this way, when you come back in and take clay tubes, actually we're going to use clay buildup on this one for a little bit because it's a slightly more aggressive brush. I'm going to turn it down a little though. And you just come in here and kind of fill that in and then smooth it out, fill it in. And all you're trying to leave is just a tiny little lip there. So from the outside, it looks as if there's a return there. But you don't want there to be a big return there because that becomes a mold trap. Mm-hmm. Oops, Sculptures Pro is on again. Right, and then that way, when we go like this, and assume that you have to be more careful than this. Mm-hmm. Here, we're just going to do it like this. Boom, boom. W. Nope. And we're just going to stretch this down. Turn local symmetry off. There we go. And now that's straight and down. And then when you put the base on, you can have, it'll look as if that return isn't there, right? And you can smooth this out, take it back some. But that way you have a solid object. You're selling this outside edge, but when you Boolean all this, this will be one shell, and you won't have that return. And that for printing, that's a big deal because that's a huge cavity that, you know, is going to be nigh impossible to fill. But just use the skirt as the as the return. Then you can also W, go to the center of it, and just shrink it up. And then that way, from here, like looking down on the model, you won't be able to see that solid base. So it'll look like the dress is floating up and around. All right, let's come back to here. You know, putting the lines and stuff on things, you did a great job. The lace insets are super nice. The only thing I would say to remember is that if it is truly a buttoned garment, that there is going to be, especially since you're being somewhat realistic with the fabric stuff, even if it's fake, it's going to have a little, almost like, you know, a zipper flap. Well, that happens on all buttons, right? You have to have the flap with the holes and stuff. So just remember that you probably want to add, if you're going for realism, if you are going for realism, you want to make sure that you have that. I'm just going to draw it. Where are you? There's my bar. You know, there really is a sort of little layer behind that. And just design-wise, if you have an open front like this, you're almost always going to have some sort of waistline in there, because this is a pretty dramatic dart, right? Or a alternate thing. So usually these bodices will come in and kind of, you know, break the line a little, because you don't usually just have this stitched in with there not being something there to divide it up, because that's a lot of fabric. And why they put the waistlines in there is that you have 2 heavy layers of fabric, and this has lace in it and stuff. So by having a belt line, you have a much more structurally sound object. And if you look at dresses, it's almost like a, you know, it has that sort of, it's sort of a mix between a Gibson girl dress and like a German bar dress, how it's open. But if we look up Gibson girls here,
do you have an idea of how the creator of this model did the lace part?
If I'm not mistaken, it's an alpha. There's actually in the ZBrush Summit videos, there's a really good demo of how they did it. You take an alpha, you loft the alpha, and there are a couple people who do it really well. They use it a lot in their fabrics. But if you do a Google search of ZBrush lace dress or making lace in, well, here, let's just. Okay, well, it's not going to know what the hell that is. Yeah, here, see, if I'm not mistaken, they take a strong alpha and you just apply it. They're really good. I think this might be, it's not the one from the Summit, but it's similar. So they're just taking an alpha and laying it out there, but there's some very good videos on it, and I'm pretty sure they did one in the Summit, this last Summit. One of the tips and tricks videos was lace, if I remember correctly. But I think they're just taking the surface, and I can't remember how they're applying the alpha. I mean, it's been around for a while. I'm sadistic. Or masochistic. I just insist on doing it all by hand. Make polymesh. Oh, they're painting on the polymesh. And that's how they're getting the detail. They're using it as a mask and then painting. But yeah, here's a link right here on it's Pinterest. I hate Pinterest because it keeps us from actually finding. This is one that I remember seeing. This is a good one, and this is a tiled lace pattern. This one is a good demo. Let me see if we can find it. But you can see like the sleeve stuff you're doing there is sort of this Gibson girly turn of the century stuff. And if you look at their waistlines, why are you just showing me their heads? You pain in the butt. So if you look up Victorian dresses, that will show you the waistline. Because you can see usually they're very structured waistlines. So just something to think about. You don't usually have those two darks just going into a flat hidden seam. And then, so let's go here, boom. Yeah. Oh, it's damn Pinterest. Stop it. Pinterest kills me. See, it keeps us from going to the damn... Look, every single one of these is a Pinterest thing. I hate that. Can we eliminate Pinterest as a search? There you go.
You can.
How do we do that?
If you type minus Pinterest.
Just
at the end of your
minus?
search. Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Did I misspell Pinterest?
And that's an underscore, not a minus. And also, why cap lock?
I don't know. Because I've got spastic typey fingers. All right, here you go. I just want to keep Pinterest out of everything because it's horrible. Yeah, there you go. And she gives you a pretty good breakdown of the parts and stuff. She's really good. So look that up. And these are pretty old. I think these are from 2014, 2015, something like that. 2014. Yeah, there you go. It was reposted on the 18th. But I remember these were... She was doing this when it was hard to do. I think there's a newer way of going about it, but she really captures a lot of the detail of the very, very fine lace, how she does it. It's good stuff. I think you could make a micro brush, or no, what are they called? Micro poly, and then do it through the micro poly attachments if you had a perfectly tileable scale, and then you can apply that to the fabric tool, right? And then you can drape it with lace as a micro poly as well. Yeah. Okay. If this is the last one, we can try that. Is this the last one?
Oh, there's a bunch more.
Oh, okay. So I need to download some.
Yeah, and now that you're back on the model, assuming that we're printed, I don't know, 8 inches tall, 6 inches, 8 is probably a lot, huh? 6 inches tall, like a normal desktop-y size thing.
Yeah,
would that lace detail actually print? And I guess the bigger question is, how would I know if it were printable or not?
I would print, like if I were, we're saving. I would, this is all in separate parts. Hold on, here. This should handle 16 million poly model, right? All right, we're not going to try. Since I got the new computer, I was sculpting on a 95 million poly subtool. Right, this is 16 million polys through how many subtools? 10 subtools. I was sculpting on a 94 million poly model in one subtool. And after just playing with that for a night and a half, I'm already like, yeah, I can do it all. No. So what I would do is I would take, if this were all one model, right? I would just take it. I would take the trim brush, and this isn't the trim brush, I know. I would take the trim brush, click, and now that's not even okay. Do I really? Okay, so I would just take the trim brush, trim that off, right, that section, and just print the section, right, in scale. Just print the area. So if you have your own printer, right, just slice off the little area that you're worried about, print it, and then if it's not working, go back, affect it a little, hit contrast a little bit, and here, I have to bring it all the way up here, don't I? In deformation, I believe, isn't it in deformation?
I don't remember yet.
Yeah, contrast right here. So right here in contrast, you can just kick up the contrast, and that will give you a little bit more height, right? It'll punch the highlights or the high and the low. And so you can, with the contrast, I would start there and just kick up your contrast a little, take off the little area that you want to test, like the eyelashes. I would, like if I was worried about will her eyelashes print, I'd just come in here, take that. Oh my goodness gracious. Take that little area, and if you're using trim, it will cut it out, right? It'll fill it up. And then just print that area, see how it is, go back, fiddle futz with your thing, get it to the point you want it, and then print the whole model. I mean, you can do it down to one eye, where you're just doing really fast little test prints. Does that answer that?
Yep.
Yeah. No, this machine definitely, it definitely has a lot of juice. We don't hit CPU load much. I might burn it to a crisp, but it'll handle it. See, these are the advantages of liquid cool machines, right? Is that what you're telling me, Henry? Maybe. We'll see.
No. Yeah. I mean, the advantage with liquid cooled machines is you can go harder for longer. But if you're just doing one thing that is a huge workload and it's
but I do one
over
thing
within
that's
5 minutes.
Fair enough. Well, we'll see what happens. I mean, my last machine was air cooled at the end, so it did fine for years on air cooling, so it had a much bigger case though. Okay. Any more questions about any of these things? We still have more pieces. You said there's more of them that I need to download.
Yeah, and I think we're still waiting on Jose, so...
Okay, that's fine.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 new files.
Wow. I guess we did, didn't we? Cool.
While you do that, we'll just go through questions out loud instead of me typing answers.
That sounds good.
Any advice on printing whiskers on a cat model in resin?
How big?
Yeah.
I mean, if it's a 6-inch cat head, you could probably get away with it. You know, if they're just little short whiskers, yeah, just give them a little bit more beef than you think you need to, and for the most part, they'll probably print. They'll be fragile, but you know, they'll probably print. Most people I know just do it with wire. You know, they leave holes, and then you take the end of your wire, make the hole a little bigger than your wire, and then, okay, hold on. I gotta download these really. Did they just, oh, they're downloading. Okay, good. 5 minutes, holy Hannah. Why is that taking so long?
Over submitted one that is 5 gigs and another that is 2 gigs.
Okay, fair enough then. So if you were doing cat face, here, where's her face again? Let's divide this. What's it say? Why can't I divide it? Oh. Oh, you have to pick a resolution. Never mind, I don't need to divide it. We were just at a lower resolution. So if you wanted to put whiskers, let's just go back here so we're not dealing with cheeks. You can just take, so if you take elastic or move elastic and you hold down Alt when you drag it out. Okay, let's try that again. Alt, and you just poke it in. You can poke holes in pretty effectively. And then I would just take Form Soft or something like that and just give it, like, you know, depending on what direction you want it to go. Hold on, let's put 3 of these in. Of course, I changed the size of my brush. When you're doing this, you don't want to change the size of your brush. Nope, wrong one. And just put, let's say you want them to go sort of like that. Just put a little notch there. Smooth that out a touch. And then just take your resin tank and just scoop a little bit of resin into. There's this company called Jars. And I use these and they work really, really well. And anyone who has a resin printer, I strongly suggest, I think that's right. Jars product, is this it? No. What would you call?
What are you looking for?
They're made for pot, I think. It's J-A... How else could...
Are you just looking for a little glass jar?
No. They're really cool. They're plastic, right? Mm-hmm. So you can't see through them. And then they have a silicone cap at the top and a silicone suction cup that holds the little glass jar inside of it. Because that top silicone, though, none of the resins aggress it. And you just screw them in and it seals. But they make these little low fat... I could have sworn the company is called Jars. The silicone's the important part. Damn it, Jim. Oh, there you go. JY. Jesus, of course. So this isn't the one. See, because if you have resin in something like this, it all gets caught in the corners. They make ones that have these little round bottoms.
They just make silicone dishes. and like containers.
I understand that, but look, this is what makes this awesome. Look, it's half round, right? So when you're going down into it, you don't get your silicones all cut up or your resin all caught up in the corners. It's always accessible, and they're clear, right? It's a glass jar, has a little suction cup, and it has a silicone top in it. And you just keep some resin in this, and it gets airtight because of the silicone seal. And I keep some resin of whatever I'm working in one of these, and then all you do is you take like a paper clip or a safety pin or any kind of little triangular wiry sculpty tool, and you just put a little dap of the resin in each one of those. You take your wire, you bend it, and you set it in, and then you can get eBay, eat my laser, 360 in no 340. What's the UV?
420.
Oh,
It's
Jesus.
420. I mean, we're talking about stash
Yeah,
jars, so I said 420. I don't know if that's right.
I don't think that's right. Oh, it's closer. 450.
450.
We are ridiculous. 360 degrees. I'm going with. You're going with 420. Oh my god. Ridiculous. Well, go to eBay. Yeah, 450. UV. Oh my god, I cannot type to save my life.
405. It's 405.
Oh my god, we are ridiculous.
It's 405.
This is what I do for a living, and I can't remember anything. Okay. So you can get even one of these cheap ones, but if you get one that's in the little box, hold on, where is it? One of these, you can put it on your little tripod, because most of these, this one's open. They have them where the boxes are closed, and the plugs aren't so obvious. Of course, I can't find one to save my friggin' life. But these, you set it up on a little tripod, but you can always just buy one of these, right? That's perfectly fine. And all you do is set up, get the resin, poke the little wires in, so the resin's sitting around it, right? You just take that and go boop, 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 and it cures it. Everyone who prints should own one of these. Only because when you're trying to bind things together, just take a little bit of the resin, brush it or swipe it on, piece them together, take this and just cure it from both sides. If you're doing something hollow, doesn't matter, just cure it. And then you can just either touch sand it, or if it's like castables, it works on any of the resins, right? Because you have two wet resin. Hit it, you UV it, and it actually, it's stronger than the resin. Like the joints hold up. It's the only way to really weld things together with you. You don't glue it or anything. But like everyone I know would just take wire and do the whiskers and wire. As I totally drill holes in the back of her head. Sorry about that. I'm telling you, she looks like Vanna White.
Jose is here in the
Okay.
chat now.
Jose! Huzzah!
Hey everyone, can you guys hear me all right?
We can hear you.
Awesome.
Okay, so I'm assuming you took your skull, you used fabric or dynamics, you draped it, but did you come back over? Did you use the pulling tool to accentuate the stress on the thing, or did this just drape? Because it looks like it hit the ground here.
Yeah, that point where it hit the ground is where I forgot to turn the the floor collision off from
Right.
the simulation. But yeah, what I basically did was, yeah, I created a plane and then a skull, and then I used the new
Fabric dynamic.
the fabric simulation tools
Mhm.
from the latest update to basically play around with this. I actually want to make this into a ring.
Sure.
And
that's what these are. This framing is that kind of looking at the framing of. Oh, wrong one. It's that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's like the shape I want for like the centerpiece of
Sure.
the ring. But well, yeah, I did go back after the simulation and try to accentuate a little of the wrinkles with
that's what I was
with some
ask.
of the cloth brushes and also with SK cloth.
Yep.
Just to make them pop up more.
And that's did it's these this little batch here, and then you kind of hit these, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so what I was struggling with is that, okay, right now this is just a plane. It has no thickness. So I was trying to make it like to make it like a block or like a metal, something like that, just to give it some thickness and a flat bottom, so that I could manipulate it and shape it into.
Well, you do. Well, are you saying you didn't know how to do that?
Shape. Yeah.
Okay. All you need to do is come into dynamic.
Okay.
Turn dynamic on. Oh, this is 16 million polys. Hold on. This computer isn't going to. Oh, well, look at that. It did it. Okay, so you pick your thickness here.
Mm-hmm.
And the only problem with dynamic is it goes in both directions. So what I like to do, don't do your just do a thickness here that gives you a thickness. Okay, so turn on dynamic.
Right.
Come on. Don't choke out on me. You can do it. Come on, little buddy. There we go. And just make it super thin. Because that way, because I need to, I keep forgetting to ask them this, because when you're doing dynamic, instead of going up or down, because I tried it with negative, like the extraction, so you can make it go below or above, but this goes from the middle, and that's why you want to keep it super thin, because you don't want it to distort that much. And then once you push apply, we're going to sit here and hopefully this doesn't kill us. There we go. All right, so we turn this on now. And so now, I thought it made it, I could have sworn it made it different polygroups. Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, I ran into that. It made the entire thing a single polygroup, and I couldn't like make the back and the front a different one.
Well, the easiest way to do it, I think you can turn it on where it'll put a ridge, where the outside edge is a different polygroup and each face is a different polygroup. I think it's a setting.
Okay.
Because I know I did this without doing it this way, but we can do it this way. So what you do, just get it to your face. Let's turn lines off. Get it to your face. Group front. And now the front and back are different polygroups. And so now all we have to do is tap this. This poor machine doesn't like 33 million poly subtools. Oh, okay, well that's fine. This is the front, isn't it? I believe it is. Yes, this is the front. So we'll just mask it off. Bring the other one back. One day. Come on, you can do it. There we go. Go W. Come in here. Go past your lowest point, right? Because you don't want it sucking up on it. Go past your lowest point, and then just drag this down.
Okay.
And now you have a solid block. Right?
Oh, yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem.
You did it so easily that took me like I was tinkering with that for like hours yesterday.
Yes.
I couldn't figure it out.
No. That's why I'm here, right? And, always throw that up in Discord or whatever, because that's, because, sometimes it really is just that simple, Normally, I could swear there's a setting in there. Let's go look. Geometry, dynamic subdivisions, constant, can't, micropoly, no. Maybe they changed it since the beta. I know that you used to be able to do it. It doesn't matter. You can do it that way, obviously. Right? Because that's just super easy to do. Just group front. So anything that's visible, it'll do. Because that's also how I do my draft angle stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. It's a lot of fun.
Thanks. What like do you have any like tips on how to? I don't know, because like okay, like the concept is just a cloth covering a skull, obviously, but so naturally, like the details will be soft, like just because that's the nature of the concept, like the details of the skull. But I still wanted to read as a skull, but
well, I mean, I don't think that you have any problems with this reading as a skull. I mean, it looks like a skull under fabric, or fabric being. Now,
okay.
Depending on the thickness of the fabric, often you will get SK cloth. Where are you? There you are. Sometimes some of these will. Okay. Some of these will sometimes come all the way up because, you're getting a little bit in, I mean, this is not a great example, but, you do get a little bit of the fabric rolling over the edges because the fabric is pinching over those lips. So
Right.
that's something that can make it look thinner, right, where these come in. There's I think it's Botticelli. There's a really fabulous, very, very, very famous sculpture of a woman with a lace veil. And I still think that's probably one of the most successful sculpted, because it just feels completely see-through. It's incredible. It's an amazing sculpt. And I want to
I think I know which is the one you're talking about.
Yeah, because it's a marble, and it's really impressive. But if you look at how he did the fabric rolling over some of the areas of the faces, you'll see that sometimes at the sharp points, the wrinkle will continue over it because it's a sharp thing. So fabric has to go somewhere, And I find that this is a little soft on some of that,
Right.
Also, there is always, in deformation, your contrast brush. And you can kick your contrast up some. And here we go. I'm trying to do this once again to a 33 million poly model. This poor bugger only has 16 gigs of RAM. It's really not made for this. But you can use the contrast. Look at these. These are like still highlighted. My machine's just like, wait a minute. Wait, what'd you make me do? So you can use contrast, and that'll punch up some of these details. It'll make them sharper.
Yeah.
And for printing, that's
I haven't played around with that one yet. Awesome.
But I think that, in a lot of ways, the subtlety of this is very nice. And, in these really tight places, you may want to push more. I kind of showed the picture that we did of the vampire. God, what's it called? It's the Greek word for vampire, or the Roman word for vampire. Whatever. But because it was a dental dam, I thought there were more. I know we have ones that have more wrinkles in it, but nope, that's not the one. Did I kill that page? Maybe it's here. Come on. No. Jars. Those are really good. No. I thought. What's that? Nope. I don't know what I did with it. Whatever. All right. Can't find anything. There's a picture we did for press that was the ring, and we stretched dental dams over it. But that had a lot more surface tension, so the picture I found wasn't the one with the wrinkles. But like you know, that looks like a skull with something being pulled over it. So I wouldn't worry too much about it. I think that this is it's clear. And especially since you're coming back in and really punching some of that fabric stuff, I think that I think it'll tell the story you want it to tell.
Awesome.
I like it.
Thank you.
No, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Indeed.
And Jose, while you're here, we're having a ZBJW members only crit stream on March 13th. It's a Saturday. So if you make any changes before then, feel free to re-upload it to us. I'll send out an email about that.
Excellent. Yeah, I'll try to speed my sculpting to get something more substantial to present.
Hold on. I need to reserve this place for that day. While we're sitting here, I don't want to forget that.
I'll remind you.
What day is it?
March 13th. From time to time. I don't remember the times. I want to say 11 to 5, but I don't remember.
Oh, well, I'm gonna use the small room anyway, so it won't matter. I'm not gonna sit in the conference room that long. Well, on a Saturday, who knows? Okay. Oh, we downloaded those things, right? Boop. Under users. Was it Origin PC?
It shouldn't be, but maybe. Oh yeah, because that's your username. Downloads.
I know everything. I love when my Wacom is named Wacom. And my plug, you know how the serial number for Windows is usually on the plug?
Mm-hmm.
Since it came out of the Experience Center, it's like, that's already on another computer. I'm like, fuck. So I have no access to the operating system.
Mm-hmm.
So it's still. Or did we fix that? Did we register that machine? I just haven't bothered doing it.
Yeah, I bought you a
Windows. Was it for that machine?
Yeah. I don't remember what machine we did that to.
Oh my god, I don't know. I'm so confused.
Anyway,
Are there any other
Sergio is next.
Okay.
Sergio, if you are here, please let us know whether you're in chat or you can jump into the Discord voice. Feel free.
So someone said that it looked like, and obviously my restream doesn't update, but it says that looks like that was from Marvelous. You know what? I don't think it was. It might have been, but she brought all of the panels into ZBrush, and in her model, it had all of the build up to, and it looks like she used individual panels that she pinned and then used the fabric thing on, but it might, because of where it is, I don't know. Because Marvelous, you don't usually you import the whole thing. You don't have it split up like that. But what do I know? Not a whole lot. Okay, we're going to have that one. These are all Z tools. Yeah. Did that come in? No, of course not. Oh, it's 6 gigabytes. So do you think it has its history, or do you think it's hundreds of millions of polys a model?
I'm going to assume history. Because that one would be from over. That's the 5 gig model. Yeah, I'm going to assume history. That's a lot of polys.
Like I said, I have 12 terabyte models, or 12 gigabyte models.
Yeah, I know, but you're insane.
That's true. Now that I can get like 100 terabytes on every subtool. I remember.
It's Eat My Laser. Let's just ask him. Eat My Laser. Why in the world is one of your models almost 6 gigs? He said a whole lot of polys.
Okay.
Ooh.
It's taken forever to load into my poor machine. This little rascal's trying hard. Any other verbal questions while we sit here and look at the gray screen await?
No, I asked Chad if anyone was excited about 2021.6 updates.
Oh yeah.
New features. What are you excited about?
Me?
Yeah.
Well, it's funny, but the brush that creates that odd shaped blockout brush. I just heard the organic shaped blockout brush. I think that could be really cool. And then I missed a whole bunch of stuff. Like there was some curve stuff that I think applies more to how we're doing the lofting, or how I want to do the lofting. I think they updated a bunch of that curving. So I need to go back and look at some of that because I missed all that stuff. I forgot they were doing it until you told me. When I was late for the meeting. Yeah. Oh, wait. Did that just kill my camera? That killed everything.